Just a quick PSA for you guys today. The latest dev blog talks a little bit about the Kurfürst and Khaba replacements, and more specifically, that you really shouldn't be selling your Kurfürst or your Khaba. When you get your special ship or your replacement version that's a pseudo premium at tier 10, you're going to receive a credits compensation equal to half of the ship's purchase cost. Basically, what that means is you're getting credited as if you had sold the ship, even though you didn't. This is great. It allows you to keep all of your upgrades on the ship without having to demount them for doubloons or sell them and then rebuy them back, which, again, every time you sell something, you get around 50% of what you bought it for, depending on your clan's base upgrades and things like that. But now, with this change, you don't have to. They're just going to credit you 10 million credits for the GK and 9 million-ish for the Khaba. This is great. I think that's an awesome change. It really helps just anyone who isn't really paying attention to get the bonus as well. This is great. They talk about in the beginning of 2022 this is going to happen. So either the patch in the beginning of January or February, I would assume this to go through. I think that it'll be really interesting to see what these replacements play like. I think a German version of the Ohio is looking kind of interesting. I really hope it works as well as the Ohio currently does, since Ohio is really hard to get for most people, and having a easier to get, essentially free version, even though you can get Ohio for free, I know, but you basically have to be a paying customer to get Ohio in any reasonable amount of time. However, grinding to tier 10, you can do that for free relatively easily. It'll take some time. So I'm very curious to see how this Prussia works. I think that's the translation. I'm not really sure about the pronunciation of that one. And a Khaba replacement, I think it'll probably play similar to how the Tashkent plays, that kind of thing. The 6 gunships instead of 8. Moving on to the last little bit of this dev blog, there's a few premium ships coming into the game that I'm sure you've heard about, some of the stats, some of the interesting quirks of these things, and they've revealed what resources or how you can get some of these ships. And we'll start with the Atlantico, the tier 8 Pan-American secondary battleship. It's looking pretty good based on its initial stats. We'll have to see how accurate these main guns and secondaries are, but the armor seems pretty decent, and there's a lot of secondaries. This is going to be the next dockyard ship, so you can expect this probably sometime in spring. We are currently in the middle of the Marlborough dockyards, so don't expect this one too soon, and honestly, if the stats are to be believed, it's looking like a bit of a monster, so I would expect to see some nerfs, depending on how some of these soft stats that we haven't been able to see play out for that ship. The next one is the Savatstopol. Savatstopol? Yeah, I'm bad with pronunciation. I'm not going to embarrass myself further. This is the tier 10 version of the Siegfried, and it's getting some improved pen angle Siegfried guns. That sounds pretty good. You're also getting a short fuse time and decent concealment. The gimmick on this one, of course, also is a repair party that lasts a really long time, but replenishes less HP per second. Basically, it's a worse heal. I think we can all agree we'd rather have all the healing possible as quickly as we possibly can to stay alive, or at least get us on the way to our next heal, where we can heal up more HP. So we'll see how this one plays out, but for me, it seems like having a long action time, recovering very little HP per second, isn't as good as short action time, recovering lots of HP per second. This one's going to be research points. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. The 4 is Sherman. I think a lot of you have seen the interesting buffs this thing's received recently. It's got some insane DPM, and it's going to be for coal, meaning a lot of people are probably going to end up getting this one. You get single gun turret Austin guns, so they're gonna have some sap on some destroyers. That'll be interesting to deal with. Austin sap is well known for being kind of busted, but it's kind of balanced out by the not amazing ship that it's attached to and the poor sustained DPM. This thing has pretty good sustained DPM and doesn't have to rely on that infinite reload booster being up for the ship to be decent. So I expect this thing to be pretty good, assuming nothing changes for now. I'll probably go more into these ships in detail once they actually get released. For now, it's just speculation for the most part, since I haven't even played any of these ships, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Last but not least, the Incomparable. Here we go. The next battleship with over 500mm guns. And it's 6 again. That's one of the main issues I have with the Shikishima, is the 6 guns results in pretty trolly RNG based gameplay, and I don't really enjoy it. We'll see how this one goes. This one is more around flanking with speed and concealment rather than Shikishima being this big tank of a ship that's pretty easily spotted and pretty easily hit as well. It also gets some torpedoes and a hydroacoustic search with a longer action time. So think a daring hydro, which is honestly a very useful personal hydro that helps you deal with incoming torpedoes. This one's going to be for steel, so you're going to see less people playing this one, but I should be able to get it when it releases, so I'll let you know how it goes. I'm interested to try it. I've seen some of them while playing random battles, and they seem alright. Certainly not a tanking battleship, but a flanking one. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out as well. So that is the methods of distribution of new ships, and most importantly, don't sell your GK in Khaba. You're getting no benefit out of it anymore, and I think that's a really important thing to know about, and a really great player-focused change that Wargaming is making when removing these ships and replacing them with different ones. This is a good change that they really didn't have to do, and it really only benefits the players. There's really not much monetary benefit for Wargaming in doing this, and I really want to point that out because I oftentimes point out how greedy this company can be sometimes. It's important to point out when they're not being super greedy, and this is one of those times. So just remember, don't sell your GK or your Khaba. So thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you think of some of these new ships coming into the game and which ones you're going to be going for. It's coming up on Christmas, of course, so you might not see weekly videos from me. Every weekday is when I try to upload. We'll see if I can maintain that schedule. There might be a few a little bit lower effort videos or just some straight up gameplay that I post instead, because I'm going to be with my family and friends during the holiday season, but just know that come the new year, I got some plans for a streaming schedule and a few different little series based on making reviews of more ships, so you guys have a decent idea of what you can buy for coal or steel or research bureau. I want to do a better job of that, getting more concise, clear information out there. So look forward to that, and for now, I hope you have a great holiday season.